Hey there, welcome back to the table. Scenario 2 is officially set up. So here's our situation. It is basically identical to the last battle. We have one frigate, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the little dudes, the scouts. But this time 2 of them are elite instead of 1. So it's slightly upgraded. So all we got was some tech upgrades. So with those tech upgrades comes these upgrades for them. And I'm just, while I'm chatting, I'm just shuffling the combat card deck so we can get ready to take our turn. And let's talk some strategy here. So one of the keys to this one has always been learning to kite. If you're familiar with the term kiting, we're going to be kiting these ships, and we want them to go into the asteroids. We want them to go into the nebula. We want them to damage themselves in their ability to, or in their pursuit of us. So in a normal game, it is extremely effective. With this one, with all of them having shields added to their, +3 shields, +3 hull, they're a lot stronger. I mean, they each have 6 extra hit points. It makes life harder. As you have already learned, we don't have upgrades to our weapons yet. We still just have what we have and nothing more. And so this is going to be a challenge, especially considering how we did last time. And so I'm just going to go through. One of the things you got to do pre-mission check is, okay, the cloak has 2 supply. This has 3 supply, 3 and 3. We're good. This one has 4 and 4, stress is 0. Here, the stress goes back to 0, and it's 1 and 8. So we're going to get that fixed. Supply on this is 2, and on this is 3, 2, and 2. Done. Okay, here we got hull of 2, shield of 5, stress back to 0, 3, 3, nothing, 2. Then we go to Starla here. Stress to 0, 2, 6, 3, 3, 2, and I need a cube. 2. Okay, and I'm sorry if the camera was looking the wrong way. I was too busy looking at the board and paying attention to the camera, but basically I just made sure all the cubes were reset to where they needed to be. And I also didn't put any thought into this starting. These are the 4 starting positions that we have to choose from. And just like before, I'm going to reserve the right to swap them around if I need to. So what is our strategy going to be? I don't know. Normally what we do, and the 2 times I remember playing this, is we go after this guy because he's alone. The problem with him is that he's very powerful. And I don't think we're going to be able to get him in 1 turn. So obviously we can use a stun. And then while we're over here fighting against him, that one's going to be coming south and possibly hit the thing. This one's going to be coming over. And then those guys are all going to be coming this way as well. And so it'll be a few turns before they reach us. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, we could get sophisticated and send 3 over this way and then 1 like here and camp them behind, and that'll force this guy to rotate and then go through the asteroids. The problem is 2 damage. Let's say he goes through the asteroids twice. 2 damage, he has 11, 12, 13, 14 hit points if you count shields plus hull. 2 damage is like almost nothing. Now, it is helpful when we're trying to finish this guy off, but it is almost nothing in the grand scheme. So they all pack huge punches with the extra 4 damage. We are still playing the Abyss level. We're going to try it. I'm nervous. That's all. Like, I felt like we barely made it out of the last one, and this is going to be more of the same. So I still like the idea of coming over and trying to finish this guy off. We do have stun, which is a capability that could help us. I'm sort of feeling like we need to maybe wait on the stun, but maybe it's still worth doing in the early stage, because even if we just stun one person, that still might be worth doing, because if he can't attack, then that means he's just cannon fodder, and all of our ships can take the opportunity to shoot at him. But here's another way to look at it. We could go this way. Instead, try to take out these elite guys first. This guy is at most going to move 2 spaces per turn. He is a very slow-moving ship. And at most turns, he's only going to move 1 space. He's never going to catch us, and it's going to take a long time. So we could also like reorient ourselves and just go this way. The in our way. So we have to make a choice, and I don't know which one. Let me put the camera down and just think this over a little. I know for sure we won't be able to take out the frigate. The thing is once the frigate arrives, we're going to regret it, right? We're going to wish we had taken him out earlier. It's always been my thought that we saved that big guy for last. I mean, it's usually what we do. Because those little ones do move faster, and so they will catch us quicker. And so we could spend 2 or 3 rounds taking down that big guy, and meanwhile all the little ones are arriving at the same time. That's the dilemma, right? So we're going to, and then let's pay attention to some other things. So I'm going to grab his card. The big guy is immune to target lock, which of course is one of the skills we just picked up, right? We can do target lock. He's immune to it. The elite scouts are immune to hull breach. We don't have to worry about that. None of our skills do hull breach. And then the regular scouts are immune to nothing. So we can use everything we got against them. Okay. I'm leaning towards, let's try to take out some elite scouts. But if we go this way, that means number 2 back here has free shot to come in. There's going to be no asteroids or anything in his way. Number 1 way down there is going to go through the nebula. That will help us. Number 3 will probably not hit anything on the way down. And 6 over here will also hit nothing on the way down. In all honesty, when we played this on normal, we split our crew and we sent 2 over here and then 2 over here. And the resulting outcome is that this guy over here went through the asteroids. And then, these ones went through those asteroids or through the nebula. It sort of worked itself out. But with them having so much more hit points, we're going to have to gang up on them as best as we can. Obviously, with the way we're limited in our inertia here. Okay, so I'm going to look at my skills one more time. We do have target lock, which we can't use against this guy. I have stealth, which will give me advantage. It's actually going to be quite good. But the stealth is also along with proton blast, and proton blast will hit multiple targets. So when you have stealth, that advantage is against all the targets. So you really want... So the way I designed Andrew here is he's going to cloak, and then he has this proton blast right there, and that hits multiple targets. So when he comes out of cloak, you want to hit 2 targets as much as possible, because you're going to have advantage against both of them. And that's when the stealth becomes so powerful. And if you've played Gloomhaven, this is like the scoundrel type of character. They had the cloaking stealth, and you'd set them at a doorway to block the doorway, and they would stealth, but so they never got targeted, and then boom, they would come out of stealth and have advantage and snipe the crap out of whoever they hit. If you watch my Gloomhaven playthrough, you'll see how I really use that skill a lot. And so it's very helpful here too, as well. So we do have radar jam, which can at least force, if they do attack us, they're going to have to attack us at the worst odds. And we do have repair, which, okay, that's something. All right, let's start rolling. I'm going to still think while we're rolling. Starla here. Okay, that's a pretty balanced start. Don't really like getting stressed so early. This is Josh. And then JB. And then last but not least is Andrew back from sick bay. Okay. So everybody got a balanced roll. No one is like 100% move or 100% attack. The ability to go in and stun is intact. So I think we're going to take out number 4. Well, I keep hesitating because he is a slow mover. Like, he's the closest to us, but like for him to actually get in range to actually do something to us, if we go this way, he really will take forever to catch us. Dang it. Dang it. I feel like it's like the end of the Planet of the Apes. Damn you all to hell. You actually did it. Okay, yeah, my biggest issue is in order to take out number 5 here, the asteroids are in the way, and so we would have to almost like go forward into this open area, and then once we do that, then nobody's going through any asteroids. So if we at least go after 4, this guy might move straight and never hit that asteroid. So it is possible he'll completely miss it. But there is a chance, because sometimes they move left and right and, stupid things like that. So if we draw the right card, he could still theoretically go through the asteroid. We do have to worry because he could move like 1, 2, 3 spaces and, start hitting us in the rear. And then also the other thing is it's hard to get advantage against this guy because he's immune to target lock. And then also we can't get behind him. Like the only spot you can be in is this one, and that's impossible to maneuver to. So no matter what we do in our attacks in this first round, it's going to be without advantage. Now, JB does have the ability to give himself advantage, and so that is something I think we need to take advantage of, pun intended. So let's put JB closest to him. Which one is JB? That's this one. So we're going to move JB over to here. And, excuse me, we will orient him that way. I'm going to put Starla the furthest away over here. She's going to give out candy, and I might keep her here as bait. So that number 5 will target her and have to go through the asteroid. I do like that idea. And then Josh is our stunning guy. He's got a stunning personality. So we'll go ahead and orient him that way. I think we do want him to go stun that number 4 because we don't want to take hits from him this early in the game. And then, yes, this guy has the stealth, but we're going to have him help as well. Okay, so we're going to start off with Starla. We're going to use one of our move dice to self-sacrifice, and so the whole points are going to go down by 1, and then that's going to give us 2 pieces of candy. And I'm going to reach over and grab those right now, and we're going to give them to our damage dealers, which is going to be JB and Andrew. So this is the JB deck, and then we just shuffle. And sometimes my shuffling stinks, but this is the other reason why I liked sleeving the cards. They're just so much easier to shuffle. I still use the FFG cards, or sleeves. I haven't bought a different brand of sleeves yet, and I'm completely out of these smaller sleeves, and I've actually been stealing from Eldritch Horror and some games I don't play as much anymore. I have all of Marvel Legendary with a crap ton of expansions, and those are the normal sleeves, and I've been stealing. I literally have Marvel Legendary open, and I'm constantly going to it and unsleeving all my hero cards and everything, because I don't play that game at all anymore. I would even sell it if somebody was willing to buy it, but and it's not that I don't like the game. It's just I got Thunderstone Quest. I have other games that I think that does the same thing and I enjoy that more. But it's funny because I have hundreds of dollars of sleeves in that game, and I'm just constantly scalping from it and poaching. So I've been doing that a lot and keeping my FFG sleeve loyalty alive, I guess. All right, let's go. Let's get this done. So Starla did her first turn. We got everybody shuffled. And what are we going to do with Starla the rest of the way? I don't think I need to wait to see what everybody else does. What I'm thinking I want to do is I want to nestle in here. So this guy is forced to go through asteroids in order to hit her. That's where my mind is. And so it's a real easy basic move, just up and then over like that. And her rear end's facing this way, which I'm not too worried about. And then that keeps her, so she's going to cause everybody up here is going to target her because she's the closest. So they're all going to go straight south instead of diagonal, which I think is what we want. We don't want everybody charging in on us right away. Now, Starla is going to be in a pickle because she's going to have to rotate. And in fact, we may just do that right now as well. So here is the short move. And then we'll use this to rotate Starla. And then we won't use the stress die. And we're not going to do anything else. So, so with the rotate, what I'm thinking is I want to rotate her to be more like this. Because I don't want her just facing into the asteroids. Now, it is possible that this guy's going to plow through the asteroids and end up behind us. That will suck. But if it does happen, I'm going to just go one of those moves. And then now that guy doesn't have a shot on us when that happens either. But it's a risk you take because we don't know what exactly he's going to do. But I don't want her facing into the asteroids at the end of her turn because then we will have to waste a whole rotate action just to get her to be able to shoot at somebody. Now, if this guy ended his turn in the asteroids here, then her facing the asteroids actually would have been fine. But I'm going to take the chance that that's not what's going to happen. So, okay, she's done. She gave out her candy. We're happy for that. We probably need to go out and make sure that we stun this guy. So let's get Josh going here. And I got the camera down. So Josh is... We got him facing this direction. And so I think we want to do a 1, 2, 3 and get him behind the asteroid. So we're going to do... let me slide the camera down. So we're going to do a 1, 2, 3 move for Josh. And I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera here. And you can see my hand. This is where he just moved and he's sitting right there. So we could do another small move and then have him facing directly to. And we are going to have to because we need to be within 3 spaces in order for this to work. So we could do that small move there. And that would move him 1 forward and then 1 over. And now we're within range to EMP blast this guy. So we only need to use 1 die to EMP blast 1 target. The reason for 2 dice is if you're trying to hit 2 targets. Now, I was looking at the possibility that I could EMP blast him and that one up there, but I can't. There's no spot I can get to that's in between them both, that I'm within 3 of both targets. Okay, so now we could also use a stress die here to do a 1 damage basic attack. And I might do that. But let's see if the EMP blast works first. And if it does, then that's going to dictate a couple of other things. So we don't have advantage, so I'm going to have to draw whatever's on top. And I draw a ×2 immediately. Jesus. For a 1 damage attack. Okay, so he is stunned, which is good. I guess I shouldn't be upset about that. So we stun him, and we did 2 damage to him instead of 1. No complaints there. It's just that, I want to draw that ×2 with my other guys. But you know what? Josh has his ×2 in his deck as well. So it was really funny that it was up front. Okay, so then I am going to go ahead and take 1 stress, and we're going to do the, it's just a 1 damage attack. And we're just trying to whittle him down. That's all we're trying to do. And I was also contemplating using, he has a radar jam. And we don't need to radar jam this guy because radar jamming, of course, is only useful if he's actually going to fire. And since he's stunned, he's not going to fire. So here we go. And we do a -1, which means we did 0 damage. Now, here's the cool thing about Josh's character. If your attack deals 0, then -1 stress. So we lost that stress that we just gained. And so for that perspective, there was no harm, no foul. So his turn's over. 2 damage done to this behemoth so far. He is stunned, so we don't have to worry about him hurting us. And now it's just free fire, fair game for these guys. So my biggest concern is I got to make sure that they can line up in a way that they can hit him. The JB needs to be super close to use his burst fire. His burst fire does hit multiple targets, so we may want to use basic attacks. The problem with basic attacks is they do 1 less damage, but it does preserve his charges, right? Because we got the issue of charges, and speaking of which, Josh lost a charge of his EMP. I just moved that down. So that's our bigger concern, is we need to do that. But let's get JB going here. So I'm looking at a 1, 2, 3, right? Basic move. So I'm going to pick up the camera here. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go ahead and do one of those, the same exact move that Josh did, 1 and then 2. And now JB is looking straight up at 4. And we're going to go ahead and use a stim pack to give ourselves advantage. And then we can do an attack. And since I have advantage on the attack, I am going to use burst fire because I want as much damage as possible. And that is going to cause us to gain a stress because we use the stress die. We are down to 1 charge. Again, it's a little wasteful, but at the same time, when you have advantage, you want to really take advantage of it, pun intended. So let's do a 3 damage attack, and then with an advantage draw, hopefully that'll turn into more. So JB's attack cards are over here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab them and move them in front of us. Let's put the camera down. All right, so he's got advantage. It's a 3 damage attack. Let's go. That one stinks. There we go. So if anything, we just at least preserved that 3 damage goes done, whereas if we would have done a basic 2 damage attack without advantage, that would have been only 1 damage to him. So, you know, in all ways, advantage is very helpful. So, okay. So we did 3 damage to this guy. And he, of course, has all these shields. So his shields they're running down. He's nowhere near 0 yet. But his turn is over. And then last but not least, we have Andrew. We're not going to be using stealth this round. There's no need to. But we are going to use a basic move, 1, 2, 3, just like all the others. And that's this one here. And then you can see if we use 2 attack dice for the basic attack, so we're saving our proton blast for later, then that means I would have to use a stress die to do the up and over. So we're going to give him 1 stress. And we're going to go ahead and do the up and then the over. So he is 1 forward and 1 to the left. And if you look at the basic attack, 1 forward and 1 to the left does hit. So we're good to go there. So we're going to put the camera down, grab Andrew's deck here. He does not have advantage for this attack. And there's not much else he can do. So we're going to just draw 1 card. And of course we draw a -2, which means he did 0 damage. Because it was a 2 damage attack with a -2 modifier. And them's the breaks. That's how it works. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video real quick, and then we're going to come back and take the enemy's turn. Okay, I am now back. Been gone for a little while. Went to go make coffee, and my machine is broken. So I am at a caffeine deficit and very unhappy. But I'm going to have to take it out on these ships. So here we go. We got the Scout, and then, of course, the Frigate, which we will reveal later. And we start with the lowest number, which is way up there in the corner. But basically, any of these Scouts that are not close to us, all they're going to be doing is rotating and then moving, and then rotating again, because they won't be able to attack. But just in case, they attack 2 in front of them and 2 behind them, and they are moving forward, forward, and then left 1. Okay, so that's what all of these guys are doing. And by putting Starla where I did, that's helping actually quite a bit. Because what you're going to see here is number 1 is going to stay in that orientation. And he's going to move forward, forward, and then left. Had we all moved after the big frigate and Starla wasn't where she was, then this guy would have rotated this way. And so already our strategy is paying off. Because look, forward, forward, and then his left is this way. So he went through 2 nebula, and so that's going to cause him to lose 2 shields. So they all have 3 shields because of the difficulty we're doing. Otherwise, they'd be stunned on top of it. But I'm going to go ahead and off camera, if you don't mind, I'm going to just move number 1 down 2 shields. So he's already experienced 2 damage, essentially. And we haven't even had to do anything with him. And then, of course, he will rotate again, which will be this way, because Starla is still his closest target, and his turn's over. Yeah, he tries to shoot, but there's no one even remotely close to him. So with number 2 here, you can see where Starla is. So 1, 2, 3 this way, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. So number 2 would rotate this way, and then go 1, 2, and then to his left, right? Yep, 3. He would move like that, but then he would rotate again, 1 and then 2, and that's where his turn would end. And yes, they try to shoot, but there's no way, nothing to hit. Okay, making sense so far? Even if it isn't, I can't answer your question, so we're moving on. Number 3 here. Again, Starla is going to keep the orientation that way. Starla is the closest. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then it's going to rotate. Although now somebody else might be closest, so we got to see which way he's going to rotate. Starla is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Josh. Starla has the higher hull, so he will rotate and face exactly that way. Okay, then we go to number 5, which is the only one we're worried about. This one will rotate this way. Absolutely rotating this way, because it's only one direction here, but 2 directions this way. And that's the rule we've been following. Tries to shoot, can't shoot through asteroids, so doesn't do any good. And then we'll do a move, which again is forward, forward, and then left 1. So forward, forward, tries to go left, but I'm there. But I'm going to get shot at, folks. So number 5 does take 2 damage. So we're going to come over here and reduce. Well, it's not shields. When you get hit by asteroids, it is hull damage. So there's 1 and then 2. So he's down to 9 hull. But you can see there, he's going to be able to shoot me. So that was almost like a perfect move for him. And so he will try to hit 2 targets. He's only going to get 1. It's a +0 to his attack. But yeah, we're going to take some damage here. So that's not fun. All right, so Starla's in trouble. Let's see, it's a 3 damage attack plus 4 is 7. So we're looking at 7 damage right now. And then this becomes 8. And Starla has 2 plus 5 is 7. Starla already lost a module. That is not good. But that was the risk I took. And yeah, I got him to take 2 damage by going through the asteroids, but I really paid a big price for that. So, and I'm rotated the wrong way. Technically, he has advantage, so I'm going to draw another one. So that was the other one. So yeah, Starla lost a module. All right, now we go to number 4, and that would be this guy. And you can see here, he's actually doing a whole bunch of movement, which is funny. So he tries to shoot in this weird pattern. And look at that. He hits infinite targets. He would have hit all 3 of us. Yeah, he really would have hit all 3 of us. So, but he's hitting nobody because he's stunned. So there's a no, and then he's going to move, up to the right 1, and then 2, like this. And then he will rotate, which would be 1, 2, like that. And then, he would have rotated first and then moved, so there was no rotation. So he'd shoot, rotate, then move, so he's staying right where he is. And then he tries to shoot again, and of course he's stunned. So we'll go ahead and remove his stun, and his turn's over. Okay, well, there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is that number 4 is primed to take some hits. The bad news is Starla already took a hit, and then I also just realized I forgot to move this guy. So he would have moved here, and he would have gone 1, 2, and then like this, and then he would have rotated, and the shot is 2 spaces, and as you can see, 2 spaces for him is 1 short. So we almost got hit by number 6. So we're in a position now where these 2 are actually going to be in range to hit us. Now we do have Josh who can stun 2 people instead of 1, so we're okay, but the Starla situation is bad, and I got to figure out what to do with her. And if anything, I really wish it was this guy that went over there, because I could have gone into cloak with Andrew. I could have cloaked, and then these guys would have just ignored him, and then he would have stayed behind. So that was a mistake on my part. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. All right, so we'll start with Starla here. Starla's got a very healthy balance. Josh, we need at least 2 attack dice, and we got them. So healthy balance for Josh. JB, fairly healthy balance, got some stress in there. And then Andrew, a whole bunch of moves and not a lot of attack. So, okay. So what do we do? Well, we got to stun those 2 guys on the right, and then we got to have an exit strategy for Starla. Something that works for Starla. And I got to be careful because, like, I'm tempted to just go around this, because to force this guy to go through the asteroids is what you want to do. But these guys can sneak down and hit Starla from the other direction. So it's not a fun pattern. What would have been nice is if this guy would have moved in some crazy direction instead of forward like he did. Usually they go left, and then up or whatever. So in this case, it's not a great, and then of course we could rotate twice and we can hit this guy, but then what? I can go through him and get back here, which sort of is nice, but I still think those guys can come up and hit her. So we have to figure something out with her, and I don't know exactly what, but let's do that right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a rotate, which I'm going to rotate to this way. And this is where I wish I still had her engine flank, because that would have allowed me to almost to go forward and then turn around, and then I could have shot this guy, but I can't. And so I'm going to use another move die to move 1, 2, 3 forward. So I'm getting as far away from him as possible. And yeah, so I'm going to come back over here. We're actually going to use her attack die to do the rotation. We're going to do that to move forward, and then we're going to do this to move forward and over. So forward and over. And then we're going to use this last die to self-sacrifice again. So we're going to take another hull damage, and we're going to give out some candy. So it can be to 2 people that are 3 spaces away, which is the whole party. And so I'm going to, once again, give out some candy to JB and Andrew. They're going to be our damage guys. The Starla and Josh are not really the heavy damage dealers. So we're going to just give it to JB and Andrew. And then Starla, of course, can do some hull repair. But these guys do so much damage that we very rarely take the hit. We're constantly having to just, destroy a system because we can't take the hit. So this whole repair concept is is really wonky. And I don't know, it's just part of being at this abyss level difficulty. There is some ways that we're going to be able to increase our hull strength and our shield strength, but it's not until much later. And when I say much later, I mean like 6, 7 more missions. I mean, it's we got to survive a lot more missions before we can start to get that relief. And yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, that's the problem with the abyss level difficulty is it is what it is. So we're off to a fairly bad start with Starla, but hopefully we can keep her safe from here on out. And her turn is over. We just did everything we could. She is down 2 hull right now, so she could at least repair herself if she needs to. And let's see, let's turn around and we're going to start first with Josh, who's currently right here and can hit both of them. This one is going to be with advantage. So we're going to go to Josh, and we're going to EMP blast both of them. And then I'm going to try to do like a forward and turn, and then maybe a rotate or something. We'll figure something out here. So the EMP blast is going to occur here, and then we would do like a forward and rotate like that. And then I think I'm just going to rotate for my last one, like so. Okay, so let's do the EMP blast first. We're going to go after number 6, which is the one I'm the most worried about. I only get 1 card against 6, and it does no damage, but that's fine. I still stun him. So 6 is stunned. Just need to find it on the board here, and then we're going to draw with advantage to try to stun this frigate, and we should succeed. So here's the first one with a +1, the second one also a +1. So we just did 2 damage against the frigate, which is awesome. He's down to 1 health or 1 shield, and he's also stunned. Oh, I'm sorry, I moved the wrong one. He's down to 2 shields and stunned. Okay, so let's keep going. JB is facing the wrong way, so we got to get him rotated. So we come up here to his thing, and we're going to go ahead and rotate JB, which looks like this. A 1 and a 2. So now JB is actually in an interesting position. He's 1, 2, 3 away from 6 and 1, 2 away from 4. So the burst fire, as you can see, is only a 2. So JB needs to move 1 space forward. There is no skill that does that. So he could take a stress. If you take a stress, then you're cutting your move short. So we could, for example, we could do this, or even this, where you move 1 space forward, but then he's not going to do the other piece. And that would cause him to gain 1 stress. So now he's at 2 stress. It's a little painful, but we really want to do this. We want to hit both targets. So we're going to have to do this, which gives him a 3rd stress. And that's going to cause him to take a miss in his deck. So now I got to shuffle his deck again. So we have now 2 pieces of candy and a miss shuffled into his deck. And of course, this is all because he's been taking stress. He took 2 stress this particular turn. Before I move the camera away, he's going to use the stim pack to get advantage on that number 6. He already has advantage on number 4, but he's going to do it for advantage on number 6. And then if I put the camera down here, he's already moved up the 1 space like I told you, and then we interrupted his movement, so he stays exactly there. And his attack, his burst fire, which by the way is also out of charges. That was his last charge. That is going to hit both of them, and because of his using his skill, he has advantage on both. So here we go. We got, we're all shuffled up, and let's do number 6 first. So we got a 0 and then a 0. So that's, I gotta check real quick. That's 3 damage on number 6. So we come over here, and that depletes his shields. Okay, then we come back. And then let's do number 4. -1, -1. That stinks. but at least we got rid of 2 of them. So that's only 2 damage on number 4, and then his shields are depleted. And that's JB's turn. So 4 of the cards out of his deck, 0, 0, and -1, -1. Okay, next we have is Andrew. Andrew does have the Proton Blast, which, if you'll study that, it goes 4 forward, and then 3 on the sides, and then 2 on the sides. So let's say that Andrew, well, let's say he rotates. 1, 2. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4 forward, right? And then 3 on the sides. So if this is the 4th spot, does he hit the spot right below it? And the answer is yes. So right where Andrew is, he can hit both targets. So he's going to do exactly that. He's going to put both dice here. Thankfully, he can use a move die to trigger this. And he's going to give radar jam to them, but we're not going to worry because they're stunned. And it's a 2 damage to both targets. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And let's stick the camera down, get his deck out. He does not have advantage against 6, but he has advantage against 4. And so because he has advantage against 4, he will use this exploit to do +1 damage. So let's do 6 first, since he doesn't have advantage. And he drew a -1, so he's only going to do 1 damage to 6, which is like that. And then we're going to go ahead and do 4. It's a 2 damage attack normally. 1, 2. So we're going to use the 0, which 2 damage plus the 1 makes it 3 damage. So he just did 3 damage against 4. So we'll come back over to 4. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3. Like so. Okay, that's everybody. Andrew does have one more move he can do. I just don't know if he's actually going to do it. I think he's going to just sit tight right where he is. So now it's peanut butter enemy time. Here's the scout move, and here's the frigate. So let's look at the scout situation. They will try to rotate, attack, and they got like a burst fire attack. Then they will move, and then rotate and attack. Okay, so number 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 9 away from everybody. So he's going to rotate this way. Then you can see it's forward, forward, and then right. So forward, forward, and then right. And then he will try to rotate again, which will be this way, and he's not hitting anything. That's all he's doing. Okay, number 1 should have gone first, but he's basically doing the same thing, forward, forward, and then right. And then, yes, he would also rotate this way. Then we go to number 3. Oh, number 3 would rotate this way and then go forward, forward, and then right. And then from there, would rotate like this. Then number 5 is this one over here. He would keep that rotation. He would go forward, forward, and then right. And then he would rotate. I'm going to say like this. He doesn't hit anybody. He comes close. He gets close, but he's not hitting anybody. And then we got number 6 here who's stunned. But he will go forward, and then he wants to go forward and right, but he can't. So he's going to just stop here, and then he'll end that way, right? But then he gets to rotate one more time, and so his target, of course, is whoever's closest. So he rotates and stops. And because he's stunned, he doesn't actually shoot. So his turn's over. And then we go to the frigate, who is doing an EMP blast type of thing. And thankfully that's not happening. So he's going to rotate first, and he's going to move forward 2 spaces and then rotate again. That's really all he's going to do. So his rotation is, this is the target. So we could rotate him 2 ways. We can rotate him this way, or we could rotate him this way. So I think either way actually works, because like you might be tempted to say this is the worst way, and then he's moving here and then we have advantage on him again, but he rotates before his turn ends, so he would be looking like this. So actually we don't have advantage on him at all. Now if he rotated this way, you could argue that that would be the more preferred way, because now even though this was his target, he still would have been able to hit him with an attack. He now tries to move forward 2 spaces and can't, and now he stops his turn, and he just would rotate to whichever one had the higher armor. But you could argue that he's actually more susceptible here, because as long as this guy can turn around, he has advantage. So to me, it's 6 or 1/2 the other. I would have chosen to have him do this and then end his turn this way, because I think that puts him in a stronger position. So he's less surrounded in doing so. Now, arguably speaking, the way this guy attacks, he actually wants to be up close to as many enemies as possible. So you could argue the other way. The rulebook says we get to decide when there's a tie. So we chose, and that's where he's going to be. Okay, so we're at 46 minutes. So the turns are going quicker when you have less and less explanation to do. So from that perspective, it's good. I'm a little nervous. They're closing in on us fast, and I have not downed a single ship. I'm running out of EMP charges already. The whole 9 yards. I mean, this is getting pretty ugly, and at this point, I could lose. Maybe some things are going to go our way soon enough here, but right now, I mean, I do have number 4 at least hurt. He's down to 8 health, and then number 6 is at least down to also 8 health. So I got 16 health between the 2 of them, but everybody else is closing in, and I need like another turn to rest, because I want to be able to rest and get some charges back on my weapons. So I gotta get to some errands here, so I can't continue anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.